Okay, the transcript. Okay, whenever Mayor Mahoney is ready to start.
All right, then I will call to order this City Council special meeting at 5 p.m. on Monday, November 8, 2021. Robin, would you like to lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. Everyone would stand, please, and face your nearest flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Robin, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Fong,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Schwartz,
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment. Notice to the public, this time is set aside to receive public comments on matter not calendared on the agenda. When recognized, please state your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Under California law, we are prohibited from generally discussing or taking action on items not included on the agenda. However, we will briefly respond. Robin, did we get any public comment for this session on our email?
No public comments on our email.
Okay, do we have any attendees wishing to speak on matters not calendared on the agenda?
Do not see any raised hands. Jenny, can you confirm?
There are no raised hands.
Thank you.
Okay. Then we'll move on to fiscal year 2021-2022 grant and support workshop, where we will review and discuss the grant and support applications. Jenny, take it away.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor Mahoney. We are presenting the applications received for the fiscal year 21-22 grant and support, along with our recommended grant and support award amounts. The city received a total of 6 applications for a total of $45,000 in requested funding. The total amount budgeted for grant and support awards is $47,000. We received the following applications: Bishop Museum and Historical Society, Agents House Unobstructed, Laws, Railroad Museum and Historical Site, amount requested $20,000. Annual Council for the Arts, Community Art Days, Bishop City Park, $5,000. Annual Council for the Arts, School Art Days, Bishop Elementary, $5,000. Eastern Sierra Artist Window Installations on Main Street, South End, Bishop, $5,000. Cal Poets, California Poets in the School, Bishop, Such a Beautiful Place, the Imagination Lab, $5,000. Eastern Sierra Avalanche, Bishop Center, Bishop Avalanche Safety Awareness and Education, Eastern Sierra Avalanche Center, $5,000. At this time, we ask that City Council discuss the applications and give staff direction.
Okay, how do we want to do this? Do we want to listen to hear if there's any public comment, or do we want to have our discussion first?
May I also note, we also have the applicants attending the meeting as well, if you have any questions for them directly.
I mean, I think these are all, personally, I think these are all extremely worthwhile projects. I do have some pause with the fact that when we put these applications out, that we put in the proposal guidelines that we propose to award 9 to 10 grants totaling no more than $5,000 each. And we have one that is in a lot of excess to that, which is in fact double what they asked for last year, or what we awarded last year. So that would be my only concern with regards to what's present here. What do you other council members think?
That's exactly what I was concerned about, Stephen. So all the rest seem perfectly fine. And in fact, I like the laws one quite a bit, but it is much over what we had said we would be giving out.
I would like us to review each application at a time.
Okay.
I'll just comment to what Stephen and Karen were saying. I agree. However, I think that the project is so beneficial and Laws is such a great resource for our community. And given that we are still under budget, you know, it's worth consideration, even though their request was double the amount.
Just for clarification, it wasn't listed in the proposal guidelines that that's what we requested. That was just a recommendation in our staff report.
Well,
So
I just-
it wasn't outlined in the application.
I mean, I think my only concern about it is that if we had, if that line hadn't been included in the staff report, which a lot of people read, would these other projects had been limiting themselves to $5,000?
True.
And so that's where I think it's a little iffy, but sure. Jose, what are your impressions on the Bishop Museum and Historical Society application?
Was muted. I think it's a project that will benefit not only Bishop, but the Inyo County. I know the funding is needed. I would like to see Laws asking the County of Inyo for funding as well. I'm sure the county funds the Laws museums for other projects, but I didn't see anything listed for this particular project. I'm also concerned about the 5,000 non-disclosed limit and that it is double the amount provided last year, which is almost 50% of the budgeted amount for this grant. I am in favor. Well, that's my comment.
I mean, I think, well, is anybody not in favor of funding Laws at the, and we'll separate it into first funding and or whether we are going to fund it, and then a second question for the amount. Does that seem reasonable?
Yes,
Definitely support funding them.
I also support funding them.
me too.
So I
Me
think
too.
we all support funding them. So then let's go through to the next application and see whether we support funding the next application. The next one is, let me pull this up. Inyo Council for the Arts Community Art Days.
I definitely support funding this project.
Me too.
As do I.
Same here. I think we all are in favor there. Do we support school art days?
Yes.
I thought that was
Very much so. Yes.
a very interesting project, and yeah, I'm definitely willing to support this. I don't know, we've talked a lot about blight, but like, do we support window installations on Main Street?
No.
No?
No.
What
I
is, okay, well, what is your train of thought there?
I think landlords should be accountable and they should be paying for this window installations, not the city. I think we can use taxpayers' fund in a much better way.
In principle, I do agree that landlords should be held accountable for their for the look of their buildings. However, if you think of, say, there are some buildings in town that have large blank spaces that are like basically empty canvases. Any law that we have would only be preventing blight on that, and they could leave it a completely blank wall, and there is absolutely nothing that we can do about that. But I think what this project is aiming to do is partner with those to beautify the city. And in that sense, I do think it is a community service. Like the prime example that I keep thinking is the big metal building across from the Perry Motors, the big metal building there. It's beige. It will forever be beige. But by supporting these sorts of projects, it could have a mural on it, and which otherwise
I don't
there's
think
no
that is the purpose of this grant. They're not asking for that.
my understanding is that they were.
I didn't
What do
see
you
it
think
listed.
they're asking?
They're asking to partner with the city of Bishop,
Mhm.
but they don't say anything about partnering with the landlords. Are landlords okay with this? Are they going to allow these window installations?
Do we have somebody from the project on here to answer some of these questions?
Yes, would you like me to allow them to talk?
Yes, please.
Okay, Gay Mueller. Should be.
Gay, I think you need to unmute yourself, and then we have some questions for you.
Okay, am I here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so this project was something that the city proposed a long time ago on how to address this. So this is not going to be an easy project. We're going to have to work with the landlords, the building owners. We're going to have to figure out how to do this, who's going to do it, what artists are going to do this. It's all about beautifying downtown and making these empty buildings look better. I think it would really help. Will it bring in more visitors? No. But will it make the people that pass through on the way spark them and just go, wow, Bishop is doing something. We have an art center or an art district growing, and our visitors, I mean, not our visitors, our locals will be able to appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be able to do some sort of a map or brochure to get people walking around. I just kind of see this as the building block to get public arts going in downtown Bishop.
And so, I mean, so at this point, do you guys actually have some locations identified that you've spoken to some of the landlords about allowing for these sorts of projects on them?
No, this is a whole beginning of a project. If the city council doesn't want us to go forward with it at this time, it's something certainly we will pursue. Because what we really need to do is create a public arts team. And because right now it's just me, and we will bring this team together quickly because we need to.
Mhm.
Councilman Ellis, looks like you have something to say, please.
Jenny, one question with regards to these grants. When we award them, they submit reimbursement for purchases and all of those things, right?
Yes, they
So,
submit a final report as well as itemized receipts. and proof of
Itemized
purchase.
receipts.
Yes.
I see.
And
So,
if they're unable to fulfill the project, then they would just return the money.
well, they wouldn't get it, right? Because they need to return the itemized
We
receipt.
do issue the money ahead of time, and they
Mm.
have to submit the report after.
I see. I mean, I think, personally, I think $5,000 to start going down this process, I think is, I think it's worthwhile because, like I said, there are lots of blank canvases around town, and the only power that we have at this point is to just say, don't let it be dilapidated. And this is putting it on track to move beyond that. I mean,
And I think, Jose, to your point, you're right that if it's an ugly building, there should be some way for us to hold the people accountable. However, that being said, even if it's a fully functioning ugly building, there is something to be said for having more art and more interesting things to look at as we walk through downtown. And as far as it does give me pause a bit that nothing has begun yet. They do have in their proposal, they're saying they're going to have a minimum of 5 things completed within the year. So they've set themselves a goal, and if push comes to shove, we can hold them to that goal. And so I think it's worth the gamble, because I'm excited at the idea of having interesting things to look at as I walk down the street and as our visitors walk down the street.
I like to reply, but I like to let Jim Ellis talk first.
yeah.
Thank you. I spent last week touring 5 states in the Midwest. I ran from Nebraska and Kansas, and I don't know, 1,500 miles in 4 days. And a lot of the little towns, the ones that I liked, had art in them. Other ones looked dead. They were, buildings empty or boarded up. And Gay, I remember when we talked about this years ago, and what a great idea it was. And it never had a mechanism to go forward. It was a talk, but there was never a mechanism. And I see right now the mechanism to make this happen. I look at, my wife and I are both kind of artists. We did the big painting for the Mule Days thing. I will donate my time and effort on this one and build you a mural that can pop in a window. I think, like Karen says, I think we all say, anything we can put in a town to make it look better. I don't think it's going to be hard for a business to say, yeah, here's my window, help yourself. So I think finally the mechanism is in place here. I think we fund it, and we make Bishop one of those towns you don't go, ooh, you go, wow, that's cool. It's a neat little town. That's all.
I like to see then this being done on businesses that are already open, that are contributing to the economy and the life in Bishop, instead of putting this money towards empty buildings and landlords that technically don't care if their building sits empty forever and ever. So let's apply this art at restaurants and businesses that are open today. And I don't mean today, but that they're contributing to our economy.
And so, I mean, I think, Gay, to address that point, when you guys are soliciting buildings to do these sorts of window arts, you're not, you won't be excluding buildings that are currently occupied and functioning, right? Or was your plan to exclude them?
I am totally excited about including everybody. I mean, this, for $5,000, this is not going to go far. It's the beginning to me of a public arts project. So I'm sort of thinking that we should focus on South Main Street, Mountain Rambler, that area across that whole little section right there, and start it going. So for one example, Councilman Garcia, there's a new gallery opening up. How do you describe it? Right next to the Meat House. It was a gallery and now it's opening up again. I would love to work with them and see them do an installation. So whatever we can do to animate that section. I mean, I want to start with a small doable project, since this project has to be done by the end of June. So that's my focus, whatever we can get going there. Some things are going to be harder than others. I mean, Barbecue Bill's, I don't know, that's a huge place. I don't know what we can get going, but it might look a whole lot better than the white paper that's over the buildings now. So just whatever we can do in the next 6 months, 7 months to get something going. I kind of feel like this is a ball rolling on our public arts, bringing public arts to downtown. So this is manageable to me.
Well, and Jose, from my perspective, I really truly get all of your points that you're making. And I guess I feel in the way that Gay does that this is just a kickoff. You know, this is our first little, we have people who are interested in doing this. And we should encourage this, and we should do what we can to get it on the way.
Yeah, and I mean, and bear in mind, it's proof of concept, right? And so as it starts resonating, I think another aspect of it is to get some publicity for the Eastern Sierra Artists, which is a 501c3, and then people can donate to them directly and push forward. So, yeah. Okay, I think I see thumbs up. Okay, what do we think about the California Poets in the School, Bishop, Such a Beautiful Place by the Imagination Lab, or at the Imagination Lab?
I think it's fantastic. I would love to support it.
I agree.
I would like to ask why all of the board members are from out of the area. Except for one.
Do we have somebody from that?
Yes, we have Eva. Let me admit her. Okay, let me try again. I have promoted her, but she has her hand raised. She needs to accept. Oh, there we are.
Eva, you just need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, what was the question? I'm the representative for California Poets in the Schools. I've been working here since the late 70s. We've worked in all the schools in Inyo County and most of the schools in Mono County. And this project that I'm presenting would be for all the people of Bishop, and eventually I think would attract, students, young people and older people from all the areas in Inyo County. I mean, that's my intention. So California Poets in the Schools is a statewide organization, and I'm their area coordinator, and I've been doing that for a long, decades. I don't know if I could tell you any more than that.
I guess that answers my question, Jess. I was wondering why all of the board members but you are from out of the area, and I guess that is why. Now, this project is for a video museum.
Yes.
That is going to be located where?
Well, hopefully, I mean, it's a vision right now, but specifically for this grant and this program project that I presented was to make 2 documentaries of a couple local artists, and those could be shown. They would be shown at 3 different places. But the first one, I think I said in February, and the second one in March, and they would be shown at the Imagination Lab. We've had as many as 40 to 50 people in here. It's a little bit crowded, but because of COVID, we haven't been able to do these things. But I think there's a way to have a small audience there. We could then perhaps do it at C5, and there's more room there. And if we also could show it at the theater, and this would be something local young people and adults could see, but also tourists. I mean, it would be the beginning of the video museum, put it that way. And eventually I would need to have a good storage way and a good way to project so that tourists could maybe, for instance, have some sort of a package deal where they could come up here and they'd stay at a hotel and they'd get restaurants at a certain, where they had, you know, some vouchers to eat. They could see a couple of things about some people who were well known in the area at the Video Museum. So initially, the actual, you know, brick mortar thing would, tourists and people could see those videos at the Imagination Lab. But really for this project, it's just to do those first documentaries, get them out there, get people to see what this idea is all about and go from there.
And showing these videos will be free to the public?
Would they be free to the public?
Yes.
I haven't figured that part out. I would think that we could probably take donations at the door. At the Imagination Lab in the past, there was a period when Elaine Kabbalah, you know, suggested having a film series here. And I can't remember. I know that we showed some videos that were historical about the area, but we also just showed other types of videos, and people were happy to put something in a donation bucket. So it all helps. I mean, the Imagination Lab is not it per se itself a nonprofit agency, but it's always really a nonprofit agency. And I have worked with Poets in the Schools in a variety of ways. They've been fiscal sponsors for other things at the Imagination Lab. But Poets in Schools has been very active here since I've been here, which, as I said, is at the end of the 1970s. And the organization itself was started in 1964, so it's not any kind of fly-by-night thing at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I mean, I think
We love it. The poets, you know, organized 18 conferences, 3-day conferences where kids came from the different schools in Inyo and from Mono, and over the period probably brought in about 70 or 80 different visiting teachers from the state to poet teachers. And so at one time, Poets in the Schools was very active here.
I mean, I do think that if we end up funding this, that the film, of course, can't be used to make money, that it has to be a service to the public. So having
actually, what I think about the museum is that eventually it would just be given to the city or the county or something. I mean, we're not going to be around forever. I mean, I just think it's a wonderful idea to honor the people that are important to this area. To really belong to the people eventually.
So what do we think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay, we have a thumbs up. And the last grant application that we had was from the Eastern Sierra Avalanche Center.
So I have to say, I really thought this one was great. I'm not a terribly artsy person, so the idea that we're giving money for other things as well is really terrific.
I mean, I think in the past we have had tragedies of community members dying in avalanches, and any support we can do to help educate the public on conditions and all of that good stuff, I think it's a worthwhile project.
It is, agree.
Thumbs up. Okay, now a discussion on funding levels. I think we have agreed that we're funding all 6 projects at at some level. Personally, I don't know. I given that we have other items coming up later tonight that are not budgeted for or over budget, and I guess that's just me being a penny pincher or fiscal conservative. My proposition would be to fund laws at 10,000 and the rest at 5,000 each.
I would say
Oh,
5,000
Stephen, you,
each.
oh, what did you say, Jose?
5,000 to Loz and everybody else.
You know, I thought about it a little more and I thought, well, just because we budgeted it doesn't mean we have, you know, like have to spend the money that we budgeted. It took me a little while to get there. And I agree, you know, there's many projects that we often are like, well, we don't have the money for that. And so it might be nice to just go 5,000 across the board. And if Laws, you know, needs to partner with us on a future project, we could maybe consider it, or who knows, or maybe they could partner with other funding organizations as well, such as the county. But just because we budgeted it doesn't always mean we have to spend it. So I'm going to agree with Jose and go with 5,000 for each.
And I know we all wish that we could give Loz 20,000 or more, but we need to be fiscally responsible. And in a way, maybe, yes, maybe some of these other organizations had the impression that the limit was 5,000. So I think it's fair that we fund 5,000 all to each one of them.
Jim?
Yeah, I see the points here that we kind of laid down some ground rules. I do think in the past we funded Laws to help support Laws to keep them going. This is an actual project similar to the roundhouse, or it's an actual physical project. So I think the money is would be going to something tangible, and there's a return on that. But I do see the $5,000 thing, and maybe this is something that we do 5,000 now, and there's nothing saying that we can't talk to them outside of this realm about helping them on something else if we have the funding available. So that would be my point.
So at what level would you be talking about funding them, Jim?
I mean, honestly, I'd like to help them out and fund it because I think it's a great project, and I think it's something that needs to be done to continue Laws moving forward. Because Laws is a part of our community. It's a part of our past. I know in the past we did 10,000, but like I said, it was used to more keep them, employee cost and that part. This is more of a project rather than funding to keep them going. So, and how we laid this out, we basically said $5,000. So I can see Jose's point, other people's points, but $10,000, I'm not opposed to that one either. I'll go with the council on this one.
I understand and respect your points, Jim. And I think, as you said, in the past, and probably last year, I was not part of the decision, but funding them $10,000 was to help them out survive COVID because it affected everyone. This is a project. They listed $20,000 that they have. And if we give them 5, that's 25. So they'll be 15 short. Maybe they can go to the county and ask for another 5 or 10 or 15, and they can do more fundraising or some other revenue sources to get to the 40,000 that they need. Because this is, like, as you said, this is a project. This is not to help them survive.
May I interrupt just for 1 minute? Last year, they did submit a project as well. And my intention was for this city council meeting to have all the project reports under consent, but it didn't make it. So the project reports for last year's funding will be in the next meeting for consent for you to review.
Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, so I think we have Jose at 5, Karen Schwartz, you were at 5. Jim, you were 10 or 20, couldn't tell. Karen Kong, what's your take?
I have to say that I'm in the 10 range myself. That to go along Jose's train of thought, if they have 20, we give them half of the rest of it, then they could very easily go to the county and ask for the other half of the rest of it and not have to find a third source. So I'm in the 10 range.
Why don't we split the difference and do 8?
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
That is 75, Mr.
75, I know.
Yeah.
But I was just like looking at the numbers from last year. We were doing round numbers.
Okay, then.
Sure. So Jenny, I believe the direction we're giving staff is laws is funded at 8 and the rest are funded at 5.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other public comment on this matter? I want to emphasize that I appreciate that all of these projects are to benefit our community, and I'm excited to see what come of them, and we hope to see a lot more. Okay. And on that, we will adjourn this special council meeting until 24 minutes from now when our next meeting starts. Okay, have a good dinner, everyone.
Thank you.